All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol CRNT, Ceragon Networks. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And I want to go ahead and state to everyone to stay tuned till the end of this video because I have a ticker symbol you won't want to miss. And you definitely want to add this to your watch list and keep it on your radar. As I jump into this chart and we talk about how ARK Invest ETF has reacted, I've come across some information, and today, around the middle of the day, I wanted to go ahead and look at my video from third person, and I had searched up Serragon stock, and when I was scrolling down, I came across someone's video, and I know that many of you guys have probably watched his videos, and I had never really came across any of his content, and now he's not even popping up here. But his name's deadnsyde. He was actually on top of my video by a few, like about probably 3 or 4 videos on top of mine. And when I had searched it up, I think it was Ceragon network stock or Ceragon stock. He was on top, and I was coming to look at my video and I came across his because it stated something about another stock as well. I think it starts with an N. I don't remember it right now. And he was on the list. And I really liked his intentionality. He's very intentional for his viewers. I really like the way he approached the information, and what I like the most is his humble approach to explaining that he feels right about something going on with this ETF Izrl. Now, I agree with him to an extent, but I still have my doubts on how that works out. So if anybody wants to go ahead and share this with him or talk about it in his comments, because I am going to comment just to let him know how thankful I am for him to bring it to my, attention, and not just me, but every viewer and every single investor. Now, he was talking in general. He wasn't talking specifically YouTube videos or in comments or in group chats that people are saying that ARK Invest keeps buying and selling Ceragon and everything in this ETF overall. He wasn't just saying Ceragon. He even reiterated and went ahead and stepped up to the plate and said, hey, I was looking at it like that as well. And it turns out it wasn't like that. It turns out it's this way. So what I liked about it was his humble approach, how respectful he was about it. And if he is 100% correct, he went ahead and said he's 95% correct, just to be humble about the fact that he knows he's correct. Now, I really appreciated learning from his experience. I liked his intentionality with his viewers and his honesty when he knows that he might have said something wrong or he didn't state it that way. And then he's very transparent about the risk about some of these stocks. So I really want to say, deadnsyde, you're awesome. I like your content. I came across it looking for information online, and it was the best reason to click. I mean, I see your video come up. I clicked on it. I learned something new, and thank you. Thank you for what you do, and I hope that we can continue to be as respectful as you were, as humble as you are, and continue to work on growing our portfolios and teaching everyone and guiding everyone in the right direction. That I think that's the best thing about this platform, where we can help everyone learn and grow together. So let's talk about what he was saying. Like, I would show a clip of his video, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. So he was basically saying, which I noticed this here, ARKQ is an active equity ETF, and he didn't point any of this out. This is me going a little bit to another step. And he stated this is an index equity ETF. This is an index, the other one's an ETF, but they're both called ETFs. But in the index, what goes on is when people buy and sell the index is ever changing. So I looked here on the 20th, and this is why it's pretty much correct. His 95% is correct. Ceragon was number 2. When we look the next day, it's number 4. And when we look the next day, which is today, it's number 7. Now, out of those 7 here, these top 7, you could see that some of these here were way below or at other places. Like, for example, Rada Electronics on the 20th was number 6. Today it's number 5. And on the 21st, Rada, right, was way down here at 14. So for these stocks to be moving around that much, it's because there's buying and selling going on consistently. So in the index, I believe that ARK Invest is just trying to jump in on quick plays. Now, one of the biggest things that I've noticed here, though, is the ones that stay the longest in the index, it's a good sign, because those are the ones that they're kind of using to maintain the value of the index overall. So a lot of them are moving around, but some of them are kind of staying, as stable as possible. They're not going to ever be stable. This is ever changing. It's not like, ARQ or ARKW, where we're watching them, grow their positions over time, right? In the long term, the index is more like a short term. That's what I'm noticing here. And if anybody wants to correct me, you're more than welcome to. But he was onto something here, and he was spot on. Like, that's the truth. I was completely unaware myself, just like he was at the beginning. And he came across noticing it, and I'm so glad I learned that from him. His intentionality to let others know, and I'm so glad that I'm here to let you guys know. So the one thing I do want to say, though, is Ceragon has moved a lot, because that's just the structure of this ETF. But interesting enough, from yesterday, right, the 21st, to today, the 22nd, it didn't move. Their shares didn't move. And I noticed that for a few of their other ticker symbols. So some of them moved around and some of them didn't. The one thing I want to go ahead and say, from when I got worried and I needed every single investor to be aware that half of this position was shaved off, is Serragon Networks, as long as it stays in the ETF, it's a good signal and sign. Now, if Ceragon is not in the ETF, I don't want to say that Ceragon, the chart is going to be destroyed. It's not a good business model. It's not a good company, that there's no potential. That is not true. There's still potential, because ARK Invest doesn't invest or hold a position in a specific stock. Doesn't always mean that stock is no good, because we don't just guide ourselves through what ARK Invest does. We like to see what ARK Invest does and how they're thinking and how they're moving, to give us a sense of what sectors to look at or what specific ticker symbols to go ahead and consider doing more due diligence and research on. But because ARK Invest buys these stocks, doesn't always mean they're phenomenal, and because they sell them doesn't always mean that they're terrible. We want to always do our own due diligence, but it's always good to see how institutional investors, such as ARK, that has a good track record, especially their ETFs show it, their index fund shows it, everything. If you look at those graphs, and if you look at, what they've been positioning in, it says everything. It makes a bold statement of ARK Invest. But we don't always just say, if ARK Invest doesn't buy, I'm not going to consider that. If ARK Invest buys, that's the only thing I consider. No, that's not how we're supposed to look at it either. But I really, really appreciate learning that, coming across his video when I was searching up Ceragon Networks on the search bar. He was on top of mine, and then I had to scroll. He came up, his stood out, and when I sat there and listened to him, very humble, very respectful, and he was very intentional. So I want to say to deadnsyde, keep on doing what you're doing. I'm really thankful that, there's another YouTuber out there doing great things, being intentional. That's what we're here for, so that everyone can learn and grow together. And I'm so glad that I was able to learn from you, the fact that that's that information, and I can actually go ahead and share this with my viewers and other investors coming across my videos. So thank you so much. If anybody wants to share this with him that follows his videos, and comment down below, share the link let him know. I just want him to hear me out and know that I'm thankful for how humble he was. And he said that 95% that he's sure, knowing that he is correct. That was very humble of him. And he wasn't disrespecting anyone or stepping on anyone's toes. Like, that was great. So I'm really thankful. So back to Ceragon. Ceragon is now, we know it's in an index. This moves around a lot. So we're going to watch it. It's in 7th place because the value's gone down. But one thing I do want every single investor to be aware of is, as long as Ceragon stays in this ETF, it might be a good sign. Like how we look at ARKQ, how we look at ARKW, and other stocks like Open Door, Skills, Nano Dimensions, also PLTR, Workhorse, all those guys, how we've watched them before to see if they stay and if they keep growing their positions. As long as Ceragon is in this ETF, no matter how up or down it's moving, it could be a good sign that there's potential. Now, the thing about this is it's ever changing. So we're not going to be able to really grasp a very good foundation on how ARK Invest truly feels at the root of Serragon networks. And that's something that I want every single investor to be aware of. It's not like the Nano Dimensions videos when we keep seeing bold statements after bold statements, and now they have like over 10 million shares. We're not going to be able to track that type of information with how this ETF or indexed ETF works. So super important to keep that in mind. But remember, because ARK Invest doesn't have a position in Ceragon, does not mean there's no potential. I'm not saying that the chart is completely destroyed. Well, based off the movement of where it's at, I want every single investor to keep remembering here 450, super important point in the downward direction. And right now it's sitting at 532. Our closer support level is here at 485. The 50-day moving average is 519. As long as we're above it, we're in bullish territory. And if we're below it, we're in bearish territory. And the near-term resistance level is right up here at this point at 570. If they break through that, they can reach newer highs, new resistance levels, and then start to work their way up to the peak of 690. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Stay tuned till the end for the ticker symbol I'm about to share with you guys. And guys, please, if you guys follow deadnsyde, let him know. I say thank you. I appreciate his humbleness, how respectful he was about his statement, and his humble approach about it all. So that was something I appreciated the most, and I learned from him. So that was awesome. Thank you. For everyone that has stayed to this point in the video, the ticker symbol I'm about to share with you guys is one I've been watching for some time, but it was hanging out around the same area for almost a month or maybe even longer. And I was just trying to see because things were looking kind of quiet, but analysis ratings were being upgraded in the last few months and weeks leading up to this point, and I wasn't seeing much movement, but they were stating that their upgrades, are forecasts up in like 6 months from now, a year from now. And this ticker symbol, you've probably heard about it before. I highly suggest doing more research on it and doing your due diligence. But the ticker symbol is ZNGA, Zynga Inc. I don't know if you guys have heard about it before, but it was hanging around the same area. You could see some consolidation here within the $9 mark. And then also a little bit before that, it was around that area and it fell. So I was watching it. I was trying to see, are these upgrades really true? Are these forecasts possible? And now we're seeing it actually running up. So this is definitely one you want to add to your watch list, and especially since it broke out of this consolidation here. And instead of going in the opposite direction like we saw previously when it ran up to the $9 mark and it pulled back, it actually ran up to the $9 mark. It held pretty well, and it ran up now to highs here of about $11. Now, $11 is actually what analysis rating target price targets are actually. They're rating it to be on the low end, $11, the mid end around 12 and some change, and the high end that I've seen, unless anybody upgrades higher than that, so far is anywhere between $14 to $15. Now, the fact that it ran up and it's pulling back, this is probably a good time to watch this and keep it on your radar moving forward because it still has room to grow. Now, when I see those numbers of 11 plus, you could see the history of the chart. It was growing its way up and it reached highs here of about 11.15. So anything above $11 are new highs, and they're going to be new resistance levels to be broken through. This is definitely one to have on your watch list moving forward. I've seen a lot of good things about it, and I definitely recommend doing your research and due diligence to then make a rational decision. But you want this one on your radar, especially now that I saw the consolidation actually get broken through. That means that this has momentum to possibly continue to run. Now, the reason why this broke through recently is because of good news. I mean, you're going to see articles pop up. They made it into India, I believe, and so forth. So they're expanding. But this company has a lot of potential moving forward. They dominate in their sector of internet software services, of games and so forth. And also, they're looking to expand internationally, which is going to be growth. And when a company's growing, its stock share should probably grow as well, and market capitalization over time. So very interesting. I definitely wanted to share this with you guys because I was watching it closely. It dipped. It started to run up. We were watching the consolidation. It looked like it was going down here at the beginning of January, back down to $8 and some change. But no, it came back and it actually broke out of that area, those resistance levels up here at the high $9 mark and beginning $10 mark, and hit 11, and now it's pulling back. So you definitely want to watch this one closely moving forward. As always, if you found the video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share it with your friends and community. Don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. And as always, thank you so much,